Welcome back to the TWSN YouTube channel. Today we have another team-specific mock draft for you guys. This one's going to be Pittsburgh Steelers based. The Steelers are an interesting organization. They always seem to find a way to win. Great coaching staff, great management all around. The team just finds ways to win. The roster is in a little bit of a weird phase right now, a little bit of a retooling at the quarterback position, but they have so many pieces that can keep this team alive. Big draft for them. Let's just kind of get right into it. Here at 20, their top needs are quarterback, safety, and corner. And I'm just going to kind of kick things off with the quarterback and make this fun right away. Desmond Ridder to the Steelers makes all the sense in the world for me. I think that the Kenny Pickett to Pittsburgh love is more media-driven and fan-base-driven just because there's that obvious Pittsburgh connection. Maybe they do like him, but to me it seems like Malik Willis and Desmond Ridder are higher on their board than Kenny Pickett. Desmond Ridder is honestly my favorite QB in the class. His mental is far and away the best within the class. He's got good arm strength. He's got good athleticism. Obviously, he needs to touch up some accuracy, but he's a kind of quarterback that kind of fits with Pittsburgh because he can go win you games. He's not going to lose you too many games, touch up his accuracy a little bit. And I think he will thrive in Pittsburgh for a very, very long time. I'm now here at 52. You still need some help in the secondary. I think that's going to kind of where I'll focus. Maybe they get some some interior and some offensive line help. Just in general, a little bit of a best player available for them for the rest of the way through. And here at 52, things get a little interesting. Travis Jones is good. Tyler Smith is phenomenal. I don't know if they're going to go offensive line this early yet, but they really could. They really could. I'm trying to look at the secondary, safeties, and corner here a little bit, and nobody's standing out, man. It's like, did it really thin out already? It did. So this is not an ideal case here for Pittsburgh. I would draft Tyler Smith here, but I think there's just no shot he's there. I think Tyler Smith will be drafted in the first round. So we'll kind of fade away from that. And if that's the case, it gets interesting right away. I can see them maybe taking a shot on. Let's go ahead and give him the big guy from Minnesota, Daniel Falele. I think just in general, they need a little bit of tackle help. They have some solid. The offensive line is just okay. They've spent a lot of money in the interior, this offseason. They did re-sign Okorafor, but just in general, they need some offensive line help. And he's a big dude. I think he's kind of built like a Pittsburgh Steeler. Your big, tough, physical guy. He fits right in the AFC North with that ground and pound style of football. It's not an ideal pick for there in the second round, but I want to attack the secondary for them, and there was nobody in the secondary at all that felt like a good pick there. And right away here, there's a couple of guys I like already. I'm just going to go ahead and give them Alontae Taylor from Tennessee. Beautiful pick there. He provides you a good corner. He's got a good build, but he's also can play a little safety. He's a pretty dang good safety. He's showed it a little bit at Tennessee, just roaming around and making plays. But there, I think, kind of kills two birds with one stone a little bit. He's not I don't think they're going to play him much at safety, but if it comes to it, he can. I think he'll be a good corner. He can do a lot for that Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They like their versatility, and I think he kind of provides that. I think it's probably better if he sticks as more of a predominant corner, but you can do some fun things with him, and that's what makes the Steelers good. They always kind of put their players in the best situations to succeed, which is why, again, this organization will always find ways to win, and it's extremely impressive. And we're coming up here on round 4. Again, probably would look to adjust the secondary a little bit. Still, these wide receivers here are interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I think they could definitely use a wide receiver 3 a little bit. Danny Gray makes a ton of sense. I think he's got a ton of speed. Same thing for Tyquan Thornton, obviously. I mean, if you paid attention to the combine, he broke the record for a second and then got corrected. But still, you're fast. He's fast. Everybody knows he's fast. I want to go ahead and take a look at a little bit of the safeties here. Again, nothing really jumping out at me. I do think they need a safety, but they did just resign Edmonds, so maybe not. Maybe we'll push that down the board of needs a little bit. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and take a receiver here and give me Danny Gray from SMU. He's a taller, lanky, really fast receiver. I think the Steelers could take a receiver in this range. I do think they need some compliments. I love Deonte Johnson, phenomenal player. Chase Claypool has shown flashes. Need to get some more consistent play out of him. Maybe the quarterback will help that, but at the very least, you now have a legit field stretcher. I know they picked up Miles Boykin, another little depth piece, but there you get some speed. And we know they like to run the ball. So at the very least, you can have a guy flying down the field, kind of pushing the defense back a little bit, creating some better running lanes. Just in general, at the very least, that's what he'll be. I think the upside is there. When you kind of have that build, he's like, I don't know how I feel about this comp in general, but it just kind of came to my mind, like Marquez Valdes-Scantling, like a little bit. That longer, taller, fast guy. The numbers probably won't always be there, but when he makes plays, he'll make big plays, and he can impact your game in a multitude of ways. Now here we go, coming up in the round 6 pick. Again, we're getting to this point where there's not much left. You start looking for some ways people can contribute in any way, shape, or form. And I'm just, safety. I really do. I like a couple of these people here. I like Reed Blankenship a lot. But I also love Malcolm Rodriguez. I know they don't really need a linebacker, but I just think he might be the best player available here. Let's go ahead and give him Reed Blankenship from Middle Tennessee. I've mocked him to one or two teams here before throughout this process, but he's a high upside guy for sure. I believe he broke his leg or something not very good a couple of years ago, but he was a tackle for loss machine as a safety, absolute machine. He kind of just feels like a guy that Pittsburgh would like. Like again, he can have a specific role, and he can thrive in it, and that's kind of what the Steelers I think like a lot. So it kind of just fits like a glove there. It's a position of need, a depth piece at the very least, great special teamer. Now here, like I said, we're around 7. You got 225 here, and you can see 241 up top. Just looking at anything. They could use a little bit of edge depth, so that's why I'm kind of looking there a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me if they double dipped at corner again. Let's go ahead and give him Alex Wright from UAB. He's a project, but the upside is there on the tape with him. He's huge. He does some edge work. He does some 3-tech work, but they also drop them back in coverage every now and then just to kind of disguise and, keep their defense hidden a little bit. And I think the Steelers always seem to develop talent, and he's a guy super, super high upside. And kind of just works for them. He kind of feels like a guy that will sit there and develop for a couple years and then come in and make some plays for them in a few years. Now here, their last pick of the draft, I think they'll probably double dip in one of their positions in the secondary, whether that's safety or corner. Let's go ahead and give him Cascio Fields from Penn State. I think it probably would have been better if he came out last year. Struggled a little bit this year, but again, it's depth. They need corner depth. They really do. The division they play in has a ton of good receivers. The conference they play in has a ton of good receivers. So you can never have enough corners. You can never have enough secondary help. I'm just looking at the Bucks last year. Their secondary is immensely talented, super injury ridden, and it affected them. So I think you'll see a little bit of a run at corners, secondary positions later in the draft this year. And this is kind of how the Steelers mock turned out. It's a little weird. I'm not a big fan of the second round pick. I think their draft strategy got a little skewed with that. But at they do need some offensive line help. So you get a really big, high upside, really big guy there. With Falele, he has a massive offensive tackle. You get your quarterback of the future. You get a starting corner, in my opinion, Deonte Taylor, some wide receiver depth, some safety depth, a really high upside safety, a really good pass rushing project with Alex Wright, and again, some cornerback depth. I think the Steelers, like I said, it's an amazing, amazing organization. They always continue to find ways to win, and they always draft pretty well. So I think, this is the first year without Big Ben. So, it's going to be a little different. Maybe they try to shake some things up. Maybe they don't go quarterback, or maybe they opt for, a second or third round guy. Maybe they don't at all. But I think they're really high on Desmond Ridder personally. I think it fits like a glove. I think it's a beautiful fit for both parties. We'll see how it plays out. But that's going to wrap up the Pittsburgh Steelers team-specific 7-round mock draft. There'll be plenty of teams coming up in the next couple of days. If you want to see your team, just comment down below, and we'll make sure we get to them before the draft. But I hope to see you again on the TWSN YouTube channel soon.